gave her retreating figure a dirty look from under the brim of his newsboy cap. Then, with a huff, he peeled himself out of his armchair. He clutched his canteen as he wove his way around Mrs. Brodigan's roll-top desk and into the main shop. Twilight had fallen, and outside the shop's large window, the lamp-post illuminated the dirty snow piled on the sidewalks and the passerbys as they huddled into their coats. Every now and then a head would turn toward the shop, glancing at the faded letters of its name in the window and Mrs. Brodigan's handwritten sign taped below. Select antiques for sale. No weapon appraisals. Mrs. Brodigan was at the counter with the ancient cash register retrieving a small archival box. He pointed. That's the job? What's weird about a box? She frowned. I really do hesitate to tell you, considering the hour and the hours you've already put in this week, and with you still so young. I'm 20, he muttered as he took another sip. But as you keep telling me you're old enough to make your own decisions, especially when the patron's willing to pay double. Rory sloshed the canteen, spilling water over his chin and hand. His desperately needed new glasses had cost him everything he'd saved, and rent was due on the 5th. What's the catch? He said, wiping his mouth with his sleeve. Mr. Kenzie's in a terrible rush and wants any forgeries found by breakfast. She made a face. And it's rather a lot of letters. I can do it, Rory said. Yes, dear, because you're as magical as the she, but Mr. Kenzie doesn't know that, does he? It's a very difficult request. That's why he's paying double, said Rory. Couldn't you use the dough, too? He tried to keep the question soft and casual. He suspected her late husband's medical bills were still around, but he was the last person who'd want to make the wound of that death hurt fresh. I wouldn't risk you to pay any debt, she said firmly. Mr. Kenzie is under the impression I have a laboratory. It wouldn't do for him to start poking around, asking how we worked so fast. Rory might have caved at that, but what if he lost his room? Even once he'd scrounged up the cash for a new pad, he'd have to start over. Find another place secure enough? Buy new locks? He's not going to ask. Rich jerks think they deserve the impossible. Never ask or care about the person at the bottom who's got to do the work. Now, that's a bit unfair. Mr. Kenzie was terribly apologetic, but he is some rich hi-hat, right? She sighed. A congressman's son, she admitted. So perhaps he is used to getting what he wants when he wants it. Her eyes were on Rory, a little sad. And I suppose he's unlikely to discover you. You try so hard to stay unnoticed. Rory wrapped his arms tight around himself. That's how it's got to be. And since no one knows about me, I can do a job like this for him. Your house locks the doors at 10. If I can't scry the letters by then, I'll go home, he lied. The shop would be cold, but there were worse places to sleep than the armchair. She still looked reluctant, so he added, I'm really not a boy anymore. Spoken exactly like a little boy. But her shoulders relaxed, and her smile crinkled her crow's feet again. All right, lad. I promised I wouldn't coddle you anymore. I told you about the job so you could make the call, and I'll let you make it. Yes. I call it good. Rory set the canteen next to the cash register and took the box from her. It was a beautiful piece, and pleasantly heavy, solid mahogany, he'd bet, with intricate vines carved along all the edges and a fierce bear in the center of the lid. The box, too? She shook her head. Just the letters inside. He traced the bear's carved fur, feeling the ridges beneath his finger, then opened the box. All of them? He stared.